Hi everyone, welcome back to Scrapping Scotland. Join me today in the shed trying to scrap out some components from PCB boards. Why do we scrap out PCB boards? Well, you could take them as they are and take them to the scrapyard as they are if you've got an e-waste recycler, but you're not going to get a lot of money for the boards. Now there is different grades of boards. There's high grade, there's medium grade, there's low grade. And the high grade ones are the ones that contain more precious metal. So there is value in them. You can go and scrap them in the scrap yards, but I prefer to scrap out the components. So we call that micro scrapping. Now there's lots of components on the boards, from precious metals to aluminium to brass to copper. All these things are there. You also get silver and gold, and even platinum. Anyone that scraps out hard drives knows it in there as well. You get gold, you get palladium. So there is value in doing these. Now in the UK, we cannot use nitric acid unless you have a license to do so. So it's difficult for us to therefore process some of these components. Obviously IC chips, things like that, they all contain gold. You crush them down, you stick them in nitric acid, then you can recover the gold. We can't actually do that in the UK, as I say, unless you have a license. So I just tend to box them all up. I collect loads of them, stick them in a box, and then I will attempt to sell them online. So that's the same with all my components. And we'll go through some boards. I'm actually just in the process of clearing out some stuff at the moment. I have a box full of digital boxes and DVD players, that kind of thing. So I'm just actually taking the boards out of them at the moment. So you can join me while I do that. And as I go and take some of the boards off, I will take some components off here or there as well. So I'll show you as I'm doing that. So hopefully you enjoy this video, guys. If you do, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as always, and thanks for joining me at Scrapping Scotland. Okay, thanks guys. So here, typical Skybox. As you can see, this one has a hard drive. Some of the older ones don't, the newer ones do. This is a digital TV box essentially, yeah. Lots of little copper components, as you can see. And I will pull these from the board as I take the boards out. Nice little chunk of aluminium there. This is called aluminium extrusion, and is worth more usually than just standard aluminium, but we'll take that out as well. We'll stick that in an aluminium pile. This little metal plate here is also aluminium. It's aluminium plate. Okay, but we're looking for the nice easy components to pull out, like this one on here. Nice little reel of copper. We've got a little transformer here as well. And actually, these actually contain really nice gold pins. If you can see here, usually they are gold. And in fact, they are definitely gold. I'm not sure if you can see the gold from that camera angle. But as we get them out, I'll reveal them and show you the gold. Okay, so try to do first of all is you just try and undo all the screws that you can find so you can start to release the boards. Okay, so I've done most of these screws already, and I'll see if I can start now pulling some of the boards out. So there's our first board out. Okay, there's a nice little piece of aluminium extrusion here, and that will be on top of an IC chip. And we've got all our little inductors here, our little spools of copper. Okay, so we're going to pull them out, and we're just going to collect them in our little box here, all our little copper components. We'll build them up, and we can scrap them out. Okay. So all we need to get these copper components off is a pair of pliers. Pull it straight off. Okay. There's other components in here like IC chips, as I say, and small monolithic capacitors. The monolithic capacitors do contain silver and some platinum, so they're obviously worth taking off the board as well. But we'll do that at a later date. What we're doing here is really just getting the easy wins, the quick stuff that we can get off the board. I'm not going to strip the board out at the moment. I'll come back and I'll blitz the board at a later date to do that. Okay, as you can see here, that silver component here, that's called a crystal oscillator, and that actually has silver in it as well. Okay, this one here, you can see, looks a bit like one of these aluminium capacitors, but that is ferrite. Usually you see a component like that with ferrite, it means inside there is copper. So we've got that. Try see if we can break it. Not on my hand like that. Got to squeeze that. Okay, breaks the ferrite off. Put that in the bin, and we reveal our little component. And that little component, actually this one is wrapped in plastic as well. Usually they aren't. Usually it's just a straight spool of copper once you get that off. But I will take the plastic off and show you. Okay, and there it is. A little copper spool. Yeah, so keep your eye out for them. Obviously you might not see the copper right away, but if there's ferrite, there's usually copper. Okay, so that's the first board out. We'll take this aluminium off. It's always got a little bit of rubber at the bottom, and that's just a sound dampener. You don't hear the thing rattle. Okay, we'll put that into an aluminium pile, and you can see that reveals the chip underneath. Okay, the top of this is copper. Okay, so you can take them off, separate that from the chip, and that is copper. Okay, we'll do that another time, as I say. At the moment, quick wins. I will take the capacitor off as well. This little one, because I do have a box of them just sitting handy, and I can pop that into it. Okay. This pin receiver here, they will be all gold inside there as well on these sky boxes, on these digital boxes. Okay, so you know, again, can't really see the gold, but it's there. Yeah, it's there to be found. It's inside your little jacks as well. Okay, I shall put that with one of the other boxes. You can then see a bit better the gold pins here. So these are all gold plated pins. Okay, nice big pins, good quality gold plate as well. Okay, so well worth pulling these sky boxes for that particular item. Okay, little crystal oscillator again, some various things in there, and a nice big hard drive. Okay, so we're going to get all of this stuff out. Okay, there's our board released. Nice good look at the pins again. Okay, so boards like that, lots of gold on it, high value boards, high grade boards. Okay, so for this one, again, I'm just going to take the items that I can scrap out quickly, which will be the transformer, a couple of little capacitors, and a couple of little spools of copper we've got here. Okay, let's get that cracked on. capacitors, all little blue ones. Stick them in my capacitor box, and then we'll get off the copper. Transformer. There's my small inductor. There's another inductor, nice little copper coil as well on that, okay? Little fuse on it as well. Any micro scrapper saves all these fuses, usually brass ends and silver plated, and these ones usually the bit inside silver as well. From your normal plug fuses, again brass ends, silver plated, but the bit inside isn't silver. These ones are. Okay, one more inductor to take off. There we go. Stick that in the pile. Now we've just got to remove our hard drive. Okay, I'm just having a look at the hard drive to see if I can see how big it is. It's actually a nice big one, if you can see there. It's 2 terabyte, just above where my thumb is. 2 terabyte hard drive, okay. And there's a little bit of aluminium plate. Again, it's got a little bit of rubber stuck to it. Again, just as a dampener. We'll put this in our aluminium pile. Put the rubber in the bin, and we will put this aside for either resale or for scrapping. Leaves us with our shred metal, and we just stick that in our shred metal pile. Okay, on to the next one. So another big Sky Digital box here. Now if you're tuning in my videos, you'll have seen I've done Sky boxes before, so this is nothing new. But you know, as I'm out here scrapping, I'll bring you guys along. Screws have little rubber dampeners on them as well, and that's because they're attached to the fan. Obviously the fan vibrates, so they've got little rubber dampeners on them, as you can see. Just pull them off. Stick it in our small. Collect all the smalls as well, so you can see just little small items, screws, little bits of motor, all little tiny bits. Just keep them all in the bucket. When the bucket's full, and I just empty it into a big steel bucket I've got down here, and we take that to the scrapyard. So some of these screws in this one are reset quite deep. So we need a long screwdriver to get them out. It's not a problem. Okay. Some screws on the back to get that off. These things here, guys. So these receivers are for obviously your digital leads. There's a bit that screws onto these, and they are actually brass. I've actually got a couple sitting here. So they're like that, and they screw on like so. Yeah. And your lead goes on that. This is what connects to your lead. And these are brass, okay? If you can see the inside of that, you can see the inside of that is certainly brass coloured. These are brass, so keep them. Okay, to secure these, to have little nuts. So we'll unscrew them. Once we've done that, we'll get the rest of the screws out and get this one taken apart. Continuing on with our day's scrapping. I do try and scrap everything out as I get it. If not, then it just builds up so much it's almost unobtainable. Yeah, so I really need to, certainly unmanageable rather than unattainable, but getting more stuff in is unattainable because there's no space for it. Okay, there's the main screws. Main screws are all steel screws. Apart from these little ones, which you need the pliers to loosen. These ones are stainless steel. Okay, these ones. Get a lot of them in computers. Certainly got a lot of them in towers. They're stainless steel. Stick them on our stainless steel. A couple of little screws. So we need to change our bit. Okay, hopefully when we take it all apart now, should be nice and easy. I do imagine there's some screws on the side, but let's get into it and see what we can do. These cards as well, the Sky cards. That looks like it's almost burnt through, but you can see they are gold plated chips. Okay, so keep them as well. Got a few here as you can see. All gold plated chips on them, yeah? No screws on this side, even better. Okay, so now we should be able to start taking this off altogether. It looks like the best way to do that is from this side. Okay, so the front panel on this one, there's some small buttons, but nothing else, nothing much else apart from one of those long IC chips. Tactile switches all contain a tiny little nub of silver. Shred. Okay, first look inside this one. So it's slightly different in terms of the layout, but again we do have a hard drive. What size is this one? Let's have a look. That is 320 gigabyte, this one, so a bit smaller than the last one. Okay, now it's find the screws, get them out, and get these things out. I think that was just the card receiver. Nothing much but a little IC chip on the back. That was cool. Okay, a piece of aluminium. We've got our aluminium pile. And there's our hard drive. Okay. Again, nice gold fingers at the bottom of that little PCB. Okay, there's our shred metal. Okay, and then here's our board. Okay, so again, some nice spools of copper here. Nice little transformer. So we've got 3 spools of copper here. One here. Aluminium plate there. Aluminium plate there. Aluminium heatsink there. So we'll get all this off. Well, that actually took the chip with it. Yeah, that never worked out so well. Yeah, not great. Okay, I'll clean that one up with a grinder later on. Stick that to one side, that's fine. No big deal. Well, we broke that board in half, which wasn't the plan, but is what it is. So that top board was connected by pins, as I thought. The row of pins there. Again, all gold plated. Okay, we'll get this little plate of aluminium off as well, and this resistor. These resistors, you can see a metal back plate on the resistor, that is copper. Okay, so store them, keep them as well. Doesn't like that one. Okay, the little aluminium plate. And I am going to take the resistor off at the moment as well. I'll put that there. Okay, our second piece of aluminium, little piece of aluminium extrusion. Stubborn piece of aluminium. Yep, it's aluminium right as well. Aluminium bracket. Okay, that's the aluminium plate off, but I still need to separate these transistors. Okay, clean aluminium. And 2 copper bearing transistors. Okay, it's my capacitors off this board. And that's it for the easy pickings on this one. Yeah, everything else can wait. We'll get to our next item. Okay, again a skybox, but a small one. Okay. Hopefully that means it's easier to take apart and copper. Okay, there's one hidden screw in here. That strangely feels heavy. and it's taped, so I'm going to see what's under this tape. That was where the weight's from. A little cube of metal with some rubber dampeners on it. It's not that heavy, but it's heavy enough, and surprising because that's aluminium. So that was solid core of aluminium there. I'm going to put that to the side because I will give that the old grinder test just to make sure it's not stainless steel. Because it is heavier than I thought it was going to be. I was actually surprised to feel any weight in this at all. Okay, this is our board. Another piece of aluminium. I've done a few of these boards before and I've never seen these things in them, so I'm a bit surprised. There's a little bit of copper foil in there as well. Yeah. Again, it feels heavier, so I'm surprised at that. I think it is aluminium. Okay, it's my capacitors. And now for the copper bearing items. Transformer. An inductor coil. And another inductor coil. Okay, now this still feels like there's a bit of weight to it, so I'm going to take this off and see what's below. Below, beneath, underneath, I don't know. The answer is nothing exciting, so just a standard IC chip. Okay, so that'll do it for the moment for that board. We'll stick that with the rest of them. That's not even aluminium either, that's unfortunate. Got a tiny little bit of copper foil. Okay, as I say, that'll do it for that one. Little board here. We'll quickly scrap that one out. So we're taking off at the moment, a couple of capacitors and a little fuse. Next item is a little Blu-ray player. Jeez. I do find with these actually, the Blu-ray players, the DVD players, are almost just hollow boxes. Yeah. So you're getting a disc drive, you're getting a little board, and you're getting some shred. And that's really it. Don't expect any more. Okay, tiny little board with a little jack and a couple of switches. Nothing to scrap out immediately on that one. Okay, first piece of shred. As you can see, disk drive, small board, as we said. There's both silver flashing on that, this one's got gold flashing on it. So we keep that. I'll just stick this with my other disk drives and we'll do them at a later date. We'll do a pile of them at once. Silver flashing, no good to me. Couple of small chips, couple of jacks, not a lot there. That'll be brass, the end of that. Yeah, just like that. In our board pile, and there's our shred. Nice and quick, that one. So that's obviously a bigger one, but as you'll see, it'll be more of the same story. Okay, 2 pieces of shred. It's a bit of a better board than this one, as you can see. A few more IC chips than I expected. It's not so bad. And a little power board. We've got obviously a couple of items on there we can take off. Then just a SCART board and our disk drive. Alrighty. You find with these power boards are quite brittle, so sometimes it's not as easy just to pull the transformers off them. Okay. Give you a closer look at these resistors. So you can see there's the resistor. If you look there, You can see that copper colour. Yeah. So it's obviously tin plated, but it does have that copper on top, as you can see. Okay, this little heatsink is not aluminium, it's a piece of metal, piece of steel. So we've got a steel pile, and we'll take our little fuse. Okay, there's our capacitors, a couple of different coloured ones there. Kind of golden one here as well, little black one. Okay, so this drive, but we'll do for later. Little motor there, little motor in here, little motor there. Yeah, so several motors there. Could probably take that metal plate off the top. Just go into a shred like that. Have this drive for later. Here's our board, IC chips and crystal oscillators. Again, these will be brass ends on these audio jacks. That's about it. Some wire, we'll deal with the wire. Okay, on the front panel we do have a little board, and that should contain some tactile switches, so we'll get them off as well. Okay, little switches. Oops. And shred pile. Okay, 2 items left in the box. This one is the video cassette player. Usually lots of good aluminium in here. Nice motor. We'll see. Shred. Mario Kart for the Wii 2. Okay, inside the VHS player. Nice motor here, really nice aluminium here, nice copper motor as well. Okay, little motor here, some copper bearing items over this side, couple of little aluminium heat sinks. Interesting little board. Okay, let's get out. Shred. Lots of different size screws in here for some reason, but try and get the bigger ones out first. That may even release things from the boards and make it easier to work. There we go, we can lift that whole unit out now. We're just left with the board. I thought I'd get it out in one piece, but I broke the ends off, which isn't great, but there we go. Didn't realise they were attached by pins, that's why that happened. Same this side. Okay, the main board, we're just going to pull the main stuff off. It's part of the power cord. I did snip that earlier, so that's the remainder of it. Okay, that's the capacitors out, the fuse, and the copper bearing items. One more capacitor to get. There's the fuse. Then we've got one piece of extrusion. Throw in there. There's a transistor. The evolution of electronics, a transistor. And a tiny little bit of aluminium extrusion. Easy for me to say. Okay, that board can go to the side. This I will deal with later, okay? I've got our last one. Okay, so it means I've got two that can work at the same time. So we'll just get the stuff out of it. Okay, nothing really I'm going to pull off of them at the moment, the front panels. In the interest of getting this done. Just try to release all the screws that are in the metal and in the board, so I can pull the unit out. Power cord again. I have to release this steel cage so I can see the items underneath. Okay, there's a power board, transformer, not a lot really, but certainly a couple of copper bearing items there. Certainly a couple of inductors, fuse, which I refuse to leave behind. Okay, little copper inductor spool. Oh. Transistor. inductor. What is that? Ah, see? That one was sitting on top of that, hiding it away. Pull that off. There's another little inductor in there. No relays. These blue ones aren't relays. You can tell obviously when you take them off and you see the bottom, it's all moulded in. It's not a relay. Okay, there's still a few things to take off of that one that have been taken off the last one, but other than this transformer, I'm going to leave them till later. We'll get the transformer. It's got a nice little band of copper around it, as you can see as well. There we go. Nice little band of copper going around it. Big bit of solder on it as well though. So let's just get all items off it and it's done. You have to revisit it. Okay, that one's just steel. There's one little item sitting here. See this little item? We'll check that because sometimes it's a little inductor. Other times it's just a resistor. Yeah, it's just a resistor. Okay, nothing else with value on that board. Couple of chips on that one. Okay, now let's try and get the rest of it out. Okay, so there's our main unit again. Put that with the other one and we'll do them both at the same time, another time. Okay, again some capacitors on that, but I'm just going to leave them just now. I'll get that at a later date. There's nothing really else of value on that board. A couple of IC chips on the back, one crystal oscillator, three crystal oscillators, and there's going to probably be another crystal oscillator in there. Apart from that, not a lot of value. Okay, we'll separate this plastic. from our shred. Flatten this. And there's a big sheet of shred steel. Plastic waste. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this episode. Hope you found some of that useful at least. As I say, when you're stripping out boards, trying to take all the components off the board at one time can just be a real pain. So what I try and do is try and focus on certain items, and then I'll come back and then just strip different items off each time and try and go through my boards and, as I say, build up specific items. So one time I'll do IC chips, other times I'll do relays, other times I'll do capacitors, whatever it might be, yeah. So I just try and mix it up a little bit. What it does mean is I seem to hang on to the boards forever. Of course, if that's not your way of doing it, you scrap out the boards just themselves as they are, and you know, get your high, medium or low grade for whatever they may be. Then again, each to their own. I just don't find there's a lot of value in doing that. My nearest e-way scrapyard is quite some distance away, so the petrol alone would make it not worth it. So I don't do it. I just take the components, okay, and I put the waste boards into my local recycling centre, okay, into the electronics, into the local recycling. So that's it. That's going to be it for today, guys. Thank you very much, as always, for tuning in. If you have any comments, please leave them below. If you liked the video, then please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. And we'll see you next time on Scrapping Scotland. Bye for now, guys.